What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a little video on the button controls on this 94 4Runner. I already put in the new one, but I wanted to show you guys how exactly I was getting the window up and down with the broken one, because this button doesn't work. So this video is really only for anybody that the motor still works and it's only this, like the button doesn't work. Okay, so like I said, I already got the new one in here and it works, but it's actually really simple to get this off. You only have one little seam right here, and then this part just slips out this way. So you just need to get something on this end and pry it up, and honestly you can probably just do it with your hand. Yeah, just do that, pull it out, and you have two clips. Get this one off first so you can get more room to play with this one, because this one is a mother to get out. This one you just got this one tab here, so you're just going to push it in and then pull up like that. And this one, like I said, is a little more trickier. It's kind of hard to at least mine is. So this tab here, you're going to push down like so, and you want to wiggle it out. There it goes. Perfect. So now what we're going to be doing is taking these screws, these two, or three, sorry, 1, 2, and 3 screws out. Okay, that's it for that, and it should just slide right out. Now this is the new one. So I bought this on Amazon. I think it was like $12, and it goes for like Toyota Camrys and 4Runners from the year like 90, I believe, to like 97. I'll put the actual info on the video, but this is the old one that wasn't working, so you can see that the button just doesn't work. So it just kind of, you know, doesn't operate like the other ones do. It's just flimsy. So like I said, this video is only for people that the motor still works and it's only the button. Okay, and actually I wanted to show you guys how mine doesn't work, or this old one doesn't work. So let's plug this one in. That's in. It goes down, right? See where it went down, but it will not go back up. So like I said, this is only for people that the motor still works and it's only their button. Or you can even just try it to see if maybe, you know, maybe it isn't your motor and it could be your button. Got that off so easy the first time. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to release this pin that goes through both of them, and it's here. So if you see, well actually I lost the little C-clip that goes on this one because I already threw this away, but I was like, let me show you guys a video. But you can see on this one here, right, can you see that little clip that's there? Right on the, it's like a C-clip. You can see that there's one here and there's one not here. Anyways, you're gonna pull that C-clip out, and be careful because it will shoot. So like hold it down with your thumb, or like I don't know, put it in something somehow. Put it in like a Ziploc baggie, because that little sucker will shoot out. And I had that darndest time trying to find it because I dropped it in dirt. Anyways, once you do that and you figure that out, you're just gonna pull this straight out. And actually, if it's only your driver's side, you don't even need to take it out both sides. You can just leave it halfway, so you're not messing with the one side that you don't need. Basically, you're going to pull this up right? Okay. I actually lied. This step doesn't go first, or actually it doesn't really matter which step you take first, but we also have to take off these screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's do that now. So we're gonna need to get into the innards of like the electrical, and we're gonna manually touch the plates together that are gonna make it operate. And honestly, I know this sucks, but when I first got the 4Runner, I didn't know that this was a problem with it. So before I could get the parts ordered to fix it, this is what I was doing. Or actually, I only did it once because it only happened once, and after it happened the first time, I was like, dang, I need to buy that. Okay, so once you do that, it should just come right apart. But I will say, like, when you pull this from the bottom, it needs to come up like perfect. Don't go to the side, don't go to the left, don't do anything, because it's gonna all the parts that are in the inside, they move around. And also this one, the fucking window lock, has like a whole bunch of springs sitting inside of here. So when you lift this one up, like, you want to make sure you're catching all this, or like in case yours is messed up or super old, catch it. Or before you unplug it from the door, make sure that your window lock is either in the lock or on lock position, depending on how you want it. You know, if your window's already up, then make sure it's locked, because if this fucks up when you're trying to take this apart and you can't get it back together, your window is either going to stay in the locked position or it's going to stay in the on lock position, if that makes sense. So I would lock it before you detach it from the electrical if your windows are up already. Yeah, just because I ran into that issue where it took me like 2 or 3 hours to get this little part in here back together, and I had to do it because the window, this was in the lock position. So if I would have put it back on, it just wouldn't have locked, you know, if I didn't get this together or unlocked, I mean. So like I said, just make sure. I don't really care anymore because I already bought the new one and I have it installed, so this doesn't really matter to me. But I know from experience already that when you pull this up, all that shit is gonna come out of there. And luckily it didn't. Cool, but you can see there's like a weird spring in the back, and there's like, I'll show you in a second, but it's a weird little doohickey there. Okay, so basically what we're trying to get to here is, and actually I'll pull out the little button thing for you guys to show you. Should just fall out of here. See? I'm trying to get this little piece out of here real quick. You need to be careful with this because these little things move. See that? So they move. You need to be like super tedious with it. So just make sure you don't lose any of those parts. And this here, oh, okay, that's why. You gotta push the pin through. I pushed it back through, so that's what holds the button. And this only goes one way inside of that, like back into the bezel. It goes like this with the piece to the left side. So when you're going through, it goes like that. You're going back in. But basically, what happens underneath is this sits here like this, and when you push the button this way, you can see over here, right? When you go reverse, you see how it's touching over there, how those two are touching. Now when you do it for the other side, which is the side that I'm having issues with, you see they touch over there. which I mean, it obviously is working here, right? But the button somewhere is fucked up and top. Basically what you're going to want to do is you're just going to need to you're going to need to do that and that, whichever way you need to go. So I'll show you guys right now. Okay, so this might not go as planned as I wanted, and I might drop half of this shit, but I don't really care. Like I said, I already have the new one, so none of this matters to me. But for you, you know, you'll need to make sure that you get this right, or at the very least, I don't know, just make sure that you don't lose any of these parts, to be honest with you, because they just fall out. It doesn't matter which way they go. Like if you take it out, like for example, take one out, it doesn't matter if it goes this way or this way. It just put it back in there, right? They're really simple to fucking move in there. But the problem comes into play is when you're trying to put this back together, it doesn't just slide like right back on. You have to like kind of force this down in a way because of this one over here. And when you're doing that, let me tell you, all these are gonna fucking shift around and move, and it is a hassle. So my opinion would be just buy a new one. But for some people that can't afford it, or some people that just, you know, don't want to, or whatever the case may be, or like in my case, like I bought it and it just happened well before I could buy the part, you know. So but I'll show you guys. I'm gonna plug it back in. I can't even tell if that's plugged in. I think it is. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so this one is a little messed up, but you can see it goes, if you push it that way, it goes down. And honestly, I remember when I was doing this the first time, like it was having issues, but you can hear it trying to go up. There it goes. Okay, so this little, it needs the contact from these, like these two little things here need to touch really hard. So you can, it wants to do it, but I don't want to, let me see. Don't touch this part too much if you can, because it motherfucker get hot. But that's what you're gonna, there you go. See that? Just mess with it a little bit. I know it's not, I can't show you both at the same time. Let me see. Okay, so you're just gonna, so you just play with it a little bit and it'll go up. Basically what I'm doing is there's two, you know, prongs, and one of them is pushing onto the other one, but they need to stay together. So the first one is pushing on it and causing the other one to be pushed out too far, right? So it's not like in the position that it needs to be. So just kind of play with them a little bit, and then that's pretty much it. That is how you do that. Okay, so I dropped this and this button came out anyways. So I'm just gonna show you guys how to do it, because this is a bitch, let me tell you. And I struggled with it like a mother for hours. So this thing has a little slit in it, right? That needs to go this way. So the slit, you can see, needs to go this way, down. Right? And you have to do that first because they get locked in while they're inside of each other. So let me show you. So you got all these parts and this little tiny ass one too. And like I said, be careful because these mothers like to shoot. So first you're going to take this piece, just set her down, and this thing is going to go like so. Just like that, right in there. Now that one piece that we put through the other thing is going to go through down, through that hole through the top. Let me move these really quick so I can... Okay, so that top piece is going to come down, and I'll show you. So this will come down through here, and this little piece you have to pull it back out just a little bit so it passes by and slip through that hole. Dang, this thing's in there. I should do that when I'm trying to put it together. Anyways, so it locks into it like that. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to use, right? See that? But you'll need the springs and everything. But that is how it goes right there. So this is what's going to happen. First you're going to take your bezel. Like I said, it goes down that way. So you're going to drop that in. And you're going to flip this. And you're going to put old Mr. Spring on. Just drop that full in. Like so. Now you're going to take this little housing here. And you're just going to set that mother right on top. So it gives it that spring. Yeah. That old spring action. Okay, so here's where the kind of tricky part comes into play is you're gonna set this in here and you're basically gonna try to, you're gonna try to do what we did earlier, just without all the springs and shit attached. Well, attached this time. There you go, it found a place. So it should look like that. Right? Easy. But no, it's not actually. It's really fucking, that's just the easiest part. Now, on the back side here, you're gonna have to input that little tiny ass spring. And I don't think I can do it with these gloves, so give me a second. Let me take these gloves off. Okay, so when you do this, you're gonna wanna apply pressure here so this thing doesn't slip out, right? Because when you put in the little spring on, you're gonna be putting pressure on it. So the way that it works is, and honestly, you know what, I'm just going to take it out of here and show you guys from the other side of it, because it doesn't really matter for me, right? It just, you guys need to see exactly how it's going to work. So let me actually break it out of here, and I'll just show you guys without the bezel, because this will probably be a lot simpler without that big ass piece in the way. So right, you're gonna have your bezel here, right? So don't attach any of this shit without it, because you can't just attach this and slide it down. It won't go down in the hole. So you have to put you need to put this through the bezel and then put all this through the bottom. So get it in here, slide it down. Like I said, you just need to pull this out just a little bit. Just like literally tilt it. Just grab it with your nail and tilt it so that when you push that down, it goes past it, and then just let it slip back in there, right? Okay, so here is the tricky part, and mine is just, it's all fucked up in there. It's all, it's been used, so it's worn. Anyways, but that's how it's gonna go right there, somewhat. And definitely don't drop this thing, because let me tell you, it's a bitch, especially if you're trying to do it anywhere in the dirt like I am. So this little tip is gonna stay in there, and then you're gonna put the spring little on the, you'll see there's a little like thing sticking out, and that's exactly where the spring of the center sits. And hold that down, then with your thing, you're gonna just pry that over to there. So I'll show you right now. I gotta hold it when I do it, because it'll just slide out. But when you push it, you can see where how it's sliding up, and when it hits the top, it'll slide back down. But wow, I didn't put pressure on the backside. My fault. And this is what becomes tedious, because when you're trying to put it back in, this little spring right here is going to be slipping out a million times, and you're going to have to restart over and over and over. Anyways, let's see if you guys can see. So I'm holding pressure on both sides, so you'll see it goes up and then it slips in that little hole, and then that's it, it's locked. So when you push it again, out, goes down, right? So up, locked, down, unlocked, right? Push it once, that's locked. Push it again, and it slips down all the way at the bottom. Now that's easy. That's what it's supposed to do inside of the bezel, which, it does, but there's a backing here which doesn't allow the spring to slip out. But when you're putting it in, telling you, when you're trying to do it here, I'll give it a test go without it. So like I said, you can just put this in. I know I put the spring with it right there. I mean, you can put the spring however you want. The spring will go either way, so just gonna put that, and look at that already. Alright. Spring, set down. So you can even hold it down like all the way, compress it, push these two together so there's nothing, and then when you go to put this on, you know, you can just drop it in the slot already, right? Yeah, see? And then it's locked in. And you can let that go once it's locked in because it'll hold itself from the pressure. Now the tricky part is when you're putting the little spring back on, like I said. Can't really show you guys too crazy of how I'm doing it because the angle and just the bezel, but I showed you guys how to do it without all this here, so you need to look at it again. Just go back to the video. Let's see, this is where it starts getting tricky. The video. You guys can see how, like, it's so hard to hold, and you gotta compress everything together, which is why I recommend just buying a new one. But if you can get this done, I mean, I did, it took me hours, but maybe I'm a pro now, you know? Nah, no way, I can't get this shit for shit. Let me tell you, I was upset out here. It was not a fun day. But I mean, if it's raining where you're at and you just have no absolute way of getting your window back up, or you're out camping, or you just can't lock your shit, or whatever the case is, like, this is definitely a play, you know, for not having to pay for anything. And just, man, this sucks. So I'm gonna try to use like my little it just like I like that this thing is magnetic, but right now I don't need it to be magnetic. It's actually bothersome that it's magnetic right now. It's fucking it up. It's like when I get it right into the place I need it, it just pulls it right back out because it's magnetic. Yeah, fuck that. I had to do it. Yeah, you guys can see, like, it is not easy. And then, believe me, once you finally fucking get it, it's gonna slip off, like trying to put it in, because you can't hold on to it. Like, once you're trying to put it back onto the bezel, it's just like you're gonna have to hope and pray that that time that you slide it on, it's just not gonna fucking slide off. So there, I did get it on, actually. But I'm telling you right now, if you get it on, don't mess with it. Don't push it down. Don't do any of that shit. It is just gonna slide off. So once you get it, like, it's on and it's in its little place, grab your fucking, the other part of it, which is this. And like I said, this thing sucks too. All these things have to be pushed down. You got to make sure that all these are in the correct, or at least just sitting upright, you know, because they will be moved. So there's that. You'll need to put the button back on, right? So you have to put that there. Just let it sit. It sits in its own place unless it's yours is like all fucking warped out and shit. But so this is where it is right here, and like I said, it's a mother trying to get it to stay in there. But if you just kind of, I really don't know, like if you just kind of, you know, work it in there slowly. But I already heard it slip. Yeah, it already slipped. I can see it. I don't think it slipped too far actually. But this is basically what you're gonna have to do, is just keep messing with it for hours. 12 hours later. Yeah, luckily it didn't slip out that crazy right there. And I did drop the button, the other button. Again, it has a groove, so you just slip that right on the groove. And it is a mother. So if I remember correctly, okay, yeah. Okay, I do remember correctly. So when you're putting it on, the little piece is being pushed. So what you want to do is you're gonna want to, like, fuck, it's kind of hard, but you're gonna want to push the plate back in, right? Like that one fat piece that goes down, and then there you go. See that? So I just slid that down, and then, you know, this should go on fairly easy. You may have to like pull it up just a little bit to help it. Damn fly on me right now, bothering. But yeah, this, oh, I see the button. The button right here is causing it to, so I just need to, yeah, there you go, see? And then that's it. It's in. And then you can put your stuff back together. See? Good. And just the, you know, this obviously goes back on there. Then you take the rod. This rod just goes right back through. Should just go right back through. There it goes. And that's it. Like I said, it does have the C-clip, but it doesn't even need the C-clip. I mean, this thing might slide out like a little bit, but you just push it back if you need to. And that's pretty much it for the driver. The driver's side. But I will show you guys exactly what part I was talking about slipping it through. So I know that could be confusing a little bit. So I'll pull it back out over here. So basically what I did to allow this to slip through is I'm going to set this part away real quick. But what you're going to do is, see, this part right here is sticking out too much this way. So you need to compress it as it's going down. So you're going to have to somehow hold the spring and push this at the same time. So what I did is I slipped this piece in where the back of the plate was holding the spring a little bit. So I didn't need to hold the spring with my finger. And then as it was going down, I just used this and pushed this little metal plate in, you know. I don't want to push it now because the spring will just fly out. But if you hold it back, you know, you need to see how it compresses in. You'll need to compress it in to allow it to slip, because otherwise it just gets caught on the lip. And that is pretty much it. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you liked the video and if it helped you, saved you, or anything like that, please like, subscribe, and I appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one.